I'm Claire Hastings, and I come from originally Dumfries, which is southwest Scotland, but I now live in Glasgow, and I decided to move to Glasgow to study Scottish music. I've always loved singing and decided when I moved to Glasgow that I really wanted to focus on Scottish traditional music. I just love the tradition. I have a real interest in history as well as music, so I think there's some fascinating stories that come from the tradition, not just in Scotland but in all countries. In fact, there's a lot of traditional stories in Scotland that have relevance in Scandinavia. There's a Scottish ballad called The Cruel Mother, which there's different versions all over the world, in Canada and America and Scandinavia, mainland Europe as well. A story of a woman who killed two of her children and later sees two young boys playing at the river, and it turns out that's the children that have come back to haunt her. So there's a lot of interesting stories like that have really intrigued me and kept me interested in Scottish music. So I love to travel as well as sing. So the fact that I can do both together in my job, I think it's just the best thing ever. So that's why I've come to Finland to see. I've never been to Scandinavia before, and I just always wanted to see Finland, so I've come to do some music. So I entered a competition called BBC Radio Scotland's Young Traditional Musician of the Year, which is quite a large title to remember, but it's been known it's been going for many years now, and has always been known as a good platform for musicians. No matter if you reach the final or the semi-final, it's a really good way to get yourself known and to get your name out there. So I decided to enter just for that reason. I did not enter to win, so I was just very, very lucky that I managed to get through to, first of all, the semi-final. There's 12 semi-finalists of all instruments in the Scottish tradition. And then from the 12 semi-finalists, 6 finalists are put through to the final at Celtic Connections in January in Glasgow. And you do a live performance of 15 minutes. You've got 15 minutes to impress the judges. There's 6 judges and they choose the winner. So from that, I've just been very, very fortunate in my career. Having that title has allowed me to travel, and I recently did a tour in New Zealand, and the fact that I could say I was Young Traditional Musician of the Year was really appealing over there, because they hadn't heard who I was, but because I can use the title, it's really useful. And it's been invaluable having that title, and I've gone on to now record an album which I secured funding for with Creative Scotland, and it's been really, really good so far. I think there are various reasons why in the UK the folk scene is currently thriving. One reason would be, I think, the courses. You can now study Scottish music in Glasgow. There's a course in Newcastle and in Wales as well. So I think the number of musicians that these courses are churning out is getting, it's keeping it all alive and keeping a focus on Glasgow. Glasgow is now a real hub of traditional music. And of course there's so many festivals now across the whole of the UK, a lot of folk festivals. There seems to be a new festival every year, and they're very well supported. I think, again, we have so many people in the UK to attend these concerts, and now with social media and things like that, it's getting easier to reach people and to get people to gigs. And the way things are going with traditional music, there's a lot of new ideas and exciting things going on, and it's just growing and growing. With my album's called Between River and Railway, which is a lyric from my song The House at Rose Hill, and that was the location of the house that I grew up in, just outside Dumfries. in Scotland, and it was between the River Nith, which runs through Dumfries, and the Carlisle to Glasgow railway line, so between river and railway. And I've always had an interest in songwriting as well as traditional music, and I didn't really want to choose one or the other. So with the album, I really wanted to have a combination of my own songs and folk songs as well. So there's some traditional songs and also songs from other writers, such as Robert Burns, who was from Dumfries. So I like to mix it up a bit, and I think if you mix the genres as well, you can interest different people who might not be interested in traditional music but interested in songwriting, and vice versa. So I hope it works.